क्यों घुस रहा है?
नहीं यार, रोज अलग अलग हो रहा है।
अलग अलग हो रहा है। এরকম তুমি ভুলে যাও
चालू किया
सब लाइन किया এরকম করছো সেরকম বাস কিছু তোমার স্পিকার এখানে জয়েন হবে না এখানে কাউকে পোস্ট রাখতে হচ্ছে সেটা বলে কি মুশকিল স্পিকার থাকবে না কেমন করছো শুধু দেখে দেখো তোমাকে একবার বলতে আমি এখানে কোনো কিছু শুনি যাতে এটা একটু খারাপ লাগে লাইন বলে দেখা যাচ্ছে না এটা তো লাইভ হবে ও ওটা না তারপরে কি করবে তোমার স্ক্রিন দিয়ে হ্যাঁ এটা স্ক্রিন খুলে
चालू हो गई ऑनलाइन है ऑनलाइन है ठीक है प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट हो जाएगा
Good morning everyone. Welcome to day 4 of our ongoing faculty development program on mental health and wellness in academia. Today we have 2 online sessions. The first session is titled Common Mental Health Concerns in Adolescents and Young Adults, Screening and Referral. As teachers, we often encounter students who carry anxieties, pressures and uncertainties that remain largely invisible to us until it gets bigger and they reach out to us. We listen, we reassure, and we try to help them. But sometimes we feel that we wonder, are we doing enough or do we know how to respond to them more appropriately? Today's young people are navigating a complex and a complex world where they face academic responsibilities, pressure, social obligation, family responsibilities, and constant visibility a pressure of constant visibility created by the digital culture. While many of them, they shine, they achieve so much, some may also be struggling with some mental health issues that are not easy to recognize. It is precisely this purpose that we are here, and these concerns that bring us to today's session. We are privileged to have with us Dr. Priyodeep Jamindar, MBBS, DNB Psychiatry, DM Scholar in Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore. Through his expertise, research experience, clinical experience, he will definitely help us to understand better the common mental health concerns faced by adolescents and young adults, as well as the processes and methods of screening and referral. Before we proceed further, may I now invite Dr. Swati Chakraborty our respected principal to extend a warm welcome to our resource person. Please. Thank you, Shampa Madam. So, today we are starting with Dr. Priyodeep Jamindar, and he is a very reputed psychiatrist on this field. And as we are organized with the help of our IQAC team, on behalf of Asansol Girls College on mental health and wellness. As an education institute, we have some responsibility to mentor our students too. In different time to time manner, we need to have our mentees, and it is a common observations to all of us, all the teachers, that students really face in this adolescent time a challenging time for them, because this time is their build of their careers and to gain the knowledge and the learning process. But side by side, they face lot of challenges. So I'll request the speaker, eminent speaker of today's first sessions, to discuss and highlight some guidelines to all the teachers that how do we handle these mentor-mentee relations in today's world so that it could be effective for them too. Because we, all the teachers and the students are under huge pressures of educations, like the curriculum to conduct their exams, to pass their all the process, but their mental health is equally important for us. And as we are the girls' college, and here we have also the hostels of 2 hostel buildings, so I want that sort of discussion is very much required to have in these particular sessions, and here the speaker could have highlight on these points. And I'm really fortunate enough to have these eminent speakers in online mode today in our FTP program. I wish every success of this program and the continue with the discussions. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to request Dr. Biru Rajok, our respected IQAC coordinator, to share some opening thoughts with us.
Very good morning to all of you. Respected Principal Madam, respected faculty member, and dear Dr. Priyadeep Jamindar, today's speaker. This is the fourth day of the faculty development program, and this is the first session. Dr. Priyadeep Jamindar joined to the online mode, and the topic is very relevant to the students of the college. So I think this session will be highly enriched us, and I wish this program will a huge success. So without wasting any time, I would like to again welcome Dr. Priyadeep Jamindar in this faculty development program. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So it's my privilege to invite now Dr. Priyadeep Jamindar to deliver his session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam, for this gracious introduction. I am Dr. Priyadeep. I am currently working. Can everyone hear me? Can I get just one feedback that my voice is heard?
Yes.
Okay. So again, thank you. I am Dr. Priyadeep Jamindar. Some of you might know my mother, Dr. Madhumita Jamindar. She has worked as a faculty in Asansol Girls College, so I've been there since I was young. And so And I thank the organizers and Principal Madam for inviting me to this talk. So, why I understand this will be directed towards teachers in general. Most of the audience here are teachers here. So, why talk about mental health illness with teachers in particular? So, youth, adolescents, and youth are a particularly vulnerable group when uh, can the yeah, thank you. Can some of the audio be muted from that side? I'm getting a lot of feedback. Thank you. So, the adolescents and youth are a particularly vulnerable population when we think about mental health issues in general. 1 in 7 adolescent above the age of 12 to 20 has some kind of mental health problem according to WHO. By the age of 17 or so, 50% of people who will have a mental health problem at some point in their life will start having them by then. By the mid 20s, that number increases to about 75%. So, about 3 in 4 people who will ever have a mental health illness will start having those from early 20s, by early 20s. And teachers are very uniquely placed to observe and understand the baseline situations of students naturally. After the parents, the teachers would be the next demographic, next group of people who have the most information about how a young person, an adolescent, or a youth is normally, so that any change from that normality can be observed easily. They are the second parents in the setting of education, and it makes it instrumental that they are stakeholders and have some responsibility for the mental health of their students. So the point of this talk is not for us to diagnose illnesses or to give counseling or to do therapy, but to screen, meaning to understand that there is some problem at all, and if such problems are there, how to refer them to proper sources for better management of such difficulties. So here we come to the point of typicality. Typicality means for any mental health problems, even for us or any psychiatrist who sees a child or an adult, we first make a baseline of what is normal, what is typical for that child. And then we see what is the deviation from that normal. For example, if a child is naturally calm and quiet, and then they become free, or a child or a youth is not normally very calm, quiet, a student, and then over some period of time, their behavior completely changes. So we are interested in that change in behavior rather than the absolute behavior. So, what are the things? Firstly, is the duration of that change in behavior. How long, generally speaking, if there is some big change in behavior that goes on for 2 weeks or more, we would want to keep an eye out on that. What is the intensity of that change? Is it something very small, or is it so far beyond the normality that we should be concerned? And what is the effect of that change on the functioning of that individual? Is the person, is that young adult or the adolescent able to do their day-to-day jobs? Can they take care of their own hygiene? Can they take care of their socioeconomic niche? For a student that is studying, going to the college and completing their work, etc., are they able to function in a interpersonal level, which means to be able to have good, meaningful relationships with their parents, their siblings, their friends, and so on. So if there is any departure in any of these places, any change in any of these places, that is cause for concern. At this point, I will go over some of the more common mental health concerns, then some serious mental illnesses. I will, of course, due to constraints of time, not be able to give a exhaustive list, but I will start with anxiety. So anxiety is a restless feeling or a feeling of fear of something bad that might happen in the future. Anxiety, a little bit of anxiety is okay. It is a normal phenomenon and to a certain extent even helpful. If none of us had anxieties, we would probably not do well in our school, in our college. We would not study for their exams, or for my seniors and teachers there, they would not do their exam paper checking, whatever. Whenever some kind of a deadline comes, we feel anxious and we are more productive. So to a certain extent, a little bit of anxiety is okay. But after a certain extent, if the anxiety keeps on increasing, then it is unproductive. And if it is interfering with our daily functioning, then we can call it an anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder comes in many forms. One of the most common is something called generalized anxiety disorder, which means that there is just in the background, there is anxiety all the time. There is no reason for it, but there is just, I always feel anxious. I don't know why. It is just there. Could someone just, yeah, thank you. Then there is something called panic. Anxiety that is very high, very suddenly, and that anxiety comes unpredictably. Suddenly, I am very anxious, and my heart rate has increased. My breathing is shallow. I feel like I cannot breathe. My hands are trembling. I will have sweat, etc. And it comes unpredictably, stays for a little bit of time. In that time, I might feel that I'm dying, something really bad is going to happen, everything is going to end, and then it goes away. And if it happens over and over again, this is something we call panic attacks or panic disorder. Then there are other specific types of anxiety. For example, people might have anxiety in social context. This is very relevant for the teachers, because you might see a student who is not able to, who knows the material but is not able to speak, or is not able to answer questions. Excuse me. Can the volume from the main feed, which is the Asansol Girls College, can it be decreased a little bit? The main feed with the camera in it, can that be muted, please? Okay, thank you. And okay, so these could be the anxiety disorders. Next week, we'll briefly go into depression. Depression is not just sadness. So depression, in depression you find a persistent and pervasive low mood, which means the mood which is low throughout the day. 24 hours, 18 hours of whenever a person is awake, the mood is low. And it is interfering in all parts of our life. Even when I am trying to do something fun, the mood is low, so I cannot do it. If I want to do something productive, I want to study, I want to do some project, I cannot do it because my mood is low. So it is persistent and pervasive over at least 2 weeks or more. A continuous low or numbness, nothing, no kind of positive experience is causing my mood to go up or go down for that matter. It is just numb, I feel nothing. Along with it comes fatigability, easily getting fatigued. Sometimes it feels like I cannot even go to the bathroom. I cannot even go up to my table to drink some water. I am always fatigued. I have lost interest in all the things that I have previously felt any interest in. So that self-confidence comes down, and self-harm related thoughts come. I feel hopeless about the future. So that kind of a picture is what we would call depression. Then I will briefly go into ADHD. ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is a condition in which people have difficulty sitting still, difficulty being quiet and in one place. There is difficulty with sustained attention, cannot pay attention for long periods of time. The mind wanders, you wish to look outside, look here and there, not pay sustained attention into something. And thirdly is impulsivity, which means I cannot wait for any kind of reward. Whatever comes to my mind, I must do it right away. So this kind of a combination of impulsivity and inattention, typically as teachers of college grade students, you will probably not find much in the way of hyperactivity, which goes away from childhood. But the inattention, the mind wandering, etc., as well as the impulsivity can be there. Impulsivity can change from aggression in very young children to impulsively buying things or impulsively making romantic choices or other different difficult choices in a young adult. Then there is substance use. In the current Indian picture, substance use is increasing every year. Cigarettes, especially in West Bengal, the nicotine is very widely used, even in women as well as men. Alcohol, opioids, ganja, cannabis, etc., is used more and more. And there is generally a gap between the men and the women, or the young girls and boys taking the substance, with boys predominantly taking substance and girls not so. But that gap between boys and girls is kind of shrinking with time. From the data in 2005 to the data in 2016, which is what we have now, there has been a lot of increase in the substance use in girls when compared to the previous data. So, and another thing maybe when I'm talking about general difficulties is learning difficulties. So all of us find some students are doing better than others, and generally whenever someone is doing better than others, it is easy to categorize it as laziness or unwillingness. So, but sometimes it is because of difficulty in functioning. So one of the difficulties I have already told, ADHD, a student with ADHD will find it very difficult to pay attention for long periods of time. So that can be one of the causes that they are not doing so well in school. Another can be that they have specific learning disorders. Even if someone has normal intelligence or above normal intelligence, they can have something called specific learning disorder. These are specific disorders in the way the brain deals with numbers or letters or images. Some people with very good intelligence and very good functioning otherwise have difficulty reading or writing, or having difficulty in organizing those phonemes, etc., or those into grammatical sequences. Some people have difficulty with mathematics specifically. Or the calculations that people do in their mind, so abstract thinking. So these can be categorized into specific learning disorders. I will now go into two conditions that are a bit more serious. These are not very common, but quite recognizable because they are very severe when they do occur. One is psychosis, or what you would call schizophrenia. In that, there is a primary disconnect from reality, as in the person who has schizophrenia has some, in one way or the other, has some beliefs or some experiences which are not real. In psychosis, we have the two most important things in psychosis are delusions and hallucinations. So delusions are fixed, firm belief, bhram, a belief that is very strongly held and is wrong, but no amount of counter argument or telling someone that this is wrong can actually cause that belief to go away. Common such beliefs could be delusion of reference, that people are following us, people are always looking at me. When I am in a public place, everyone turns towards me, or they are surveilling me somehow. They are keeping track of me through my phone or through some radio, or people are literally following me. There can be delusions of persecution, which means ki, someone wants to harm me in some way. They are doing, depending, they can be harming me in my career. They might be jealous of me. They might be trying to jeopardize my life or my career or my loved ones' lives. So, and there is a lot of fearfulness associated with that, anger and difficulty in. But even if you prove to them or you show any amount of proof, they will not be able to, because of the disorder, understand that this is a wrong belief. Similarly, hallucination is a phenomenon in which we perceive, we feel some kind of feeling or some perception which is not real. So it can be in any of the five senses. We can hear, this is most common, we can hear some sound or voices that are coming, and they're for the person who is having a hallucination, it is very real. Like it will be the exact same as my voice talking to you right now. It will just feel very real. It can be of people talking, mocking. It can be good content, bad content, some kind of speech. It can be visual hallucinations in which I can see things, tactile, which means I can feel something on my skin. There can be weird smells or taste that are not the same as what we expect from what I am eating or drinking or smelling. And there can be this, in very short, this is psychosis. And the other thing is bipolar affective disorder, BPAD. We have briefly touched on depression, which is the lower pole, let's say. This is, if this is my normal mood, then depression goes down. Everything is less than what we expect. The movements are sluggish, my thoughts are sluggish, I am feeling sad, etc. But there is a phenomenon where the opposite happens. I am crowded with thoughts. I have so many ideas. My self-confidence increases. I feel like I'm on the top of the world. I want to start new things. I don't want to sleep even. I don't need sleep. I need to do new things. I will start a business. If I am a teacher, I will feel like I'm the principal. If I am the principal, I will feel like the health minister. My overall confidence will increase. And if other people tell me that you just calm down, be normal, then I will feel angry towards them. I might even feel that they're trying to harm me. Again, I could feel that they're jealous of me, etc. So if that kind of shift is called mania. So in a person who generally who has mania, oftentimes they also have depression in other points of time in their life. If a person has both depression and mania, that is called bipolar affective disorders. So this is by no means a full list of mental disorders that can happen to young adults, but these are some of the common ones or not so common ones that I wanted to mention here. Two or three other things I want to mention in this section, which are not really disorders, but need the assistance or the oversight of teachers a lot. The first is something called ACEs, the adverse childhood experience. So not just childhood, adolescents, young adults, youth also face these. So these are adverse situations that the person, because of their age and inexperience, are not equipped to handle well. One is abuse. The most concerning is probably abuse. it is found that by the time girls turn 18, about 75% of them have faced some kind of abuse. By the time boys turn 18, it is about 60%. So these abuse can be of many kinds. It can be neglect due to whatever family situation or something, or poor parenting sometimes. There can be not enough attention and resources given to a child or an adolescent or a young adult for them to thrive. It can be physical abuse of hitting, etc. It can be sexual abuse, and it is more common than we think. I work in with a lot of adolescents, and it is heartbreaking that amount of times adolescents and young adults will come with us with some history of sexual abuse. It is very common and very. It is something that the society would rather we do not talk about, but it is very common. And again, like I said in the beginning, the teachers are the best people who are best equipped to know of these situations. Then outside of abuse, there can be some household challenges. For example, there are broken families, divorced families. Not necessarily that all divorced families or broken families have bad parenting, but they do add on to the difficulties of a student. There can be substance use, alcohol use in parents. There can be fights, constant, noisy homes. So often these will show up in some way or form when that child is seen. So I will go over some of the ways to recognize abuse later on. Then there is bullying. Bullying is again a very common phenomenon, and what constitutes bullying is not very well understood and very well documented. As in, what can be some friendly or not so friendly jab, or someone is just talking things about others or not including them in some kind of a group, cliques that form in this adolescence and young adulthood, can be perceived by a very sensitive person as bullying. But bullying has real psychiatric and physical consequences. It is again very common, and again teachers are probably the best people, even better than psychiatrists, to spot who is getting bullied, who is getting excluded from their social roles, or some kind of mental difficulties that are coming with it. And lastly, among the conditions that I want to cover in this is cyberbullying and the effect of digital media on the young adults and the adolescents of today. So we are living in a world in which the digital landscape changes every day. Even people who are very well equipped to, like even engineers, etc., who are working in computer sector, often cannot follow up very quickly. And the young adults are exposed to a lot of material. They can be violent material, sexual material, etc., that they are not really equipped to handle. And another thing, and this adolescence and young adulthood is a time when a person's identity forms. So how I am as a person, how I should be, does my current identity or my current body, my current way of my achievements, etc., do they match up with what I think it should be, or is there some discrepancy between the two? These are topics that often happen because the identities have not crystallized, even in some young adults. So the point of these models that are found in the cyberspace of violent people, of imagery, sexualization of everything, etc., can cause difficulties in and change in the mental scape of a person. So these are some of the things that I wanted to share as mental health concerns, let us say. Before moving on from here, I would like to talk about some of the things that need immediate scrutiny and the red letter things. One is these emergencies. So the one is self-harm risk, suicidality. So even in psychiatric practice, it is very difficult for us to predict who is going to commit suicide. A lot of people are sad, a lot of people, and sometimes you will find someone who has committed suicide and did not even know that they were sad, or they did not show any signs of sadness. And often people, teachers, etc., ask me if they should talk to people or talk to children or adolescents or adults about suicide. Is talking to a person about suicide going to make them commit suicide? Are we giving them ideas about it? So I would like to say that no, talking is the first and most important step. In a person with depression, without depression, someone who can impulsively do a suicidal act. Very important, again, teachers are people who are very well equipped and very well placed to observe the mood and the current situation of a child. Suicidal risks are to be taken seriously every time, even if a person often threatens suicide but does not do it, or cuts themselves sometimes. But and over time we can feel that okay, this person is safe. That person is actually at a very high risk of suicide, completed suicide. Among the predictors of completed suicide, the most meaningful one is previous self-injury. Again, not going into very much detail, but suicides are generally of two types, the completed ones. One is impulsively. I feel really bad in the situation. I feel no other reason to live. I have access to some way of killing myself and I just do it immediately. I jump from some place, or I use some medicine that are around and I just use it. So that is an impulsive. Or suicide can be well planned. So a person can make some kind of a suicidal plan, inform others through some suicide note, gather the materials required for the suicide, and then eventually complete that step. The warning signs in an individual, in an adolescent or a young adult, would be that if they are kind of setting everything in order, and they will often express their suicidal wishes before they commit it. In vast majority of completed suicide, they generally say it very well, if not to psychiatrists, to friends, to individuals. So anyone who knows that a person is having self-harm thoughts or thoughts of dying, even if it is passive, even if it is, the thought is not that I will kill myself, the thought can be that if I did not wake up tomorrow it would be okay, if I did not live, that would be fine, I would rather not live. So that would be a passive death wish. So even that has to be taken seriously. In case of suicidal risk, the child or the student must go and talk to a psychiatric services, and the role of the teacher is very clear here, that they must inform the parents, and if determination is made that the parents will not take this seriously, they can directly involve the psychiatric help services in these cases. A lot of suicides, a lot of deaths can be stopped in this way. Other like red letter signs, the things that means that I must act immediately, would be some disclosure of abuse, like I said. Or it could be that extreme self-neglect, the person is not eating, or the student, you can see that they have lost weight, they're not dressed properly, they're not eating, drinking, they're not talking to each other, etc. So again, the entire suicide or other risk assessment need not be done by the teacher. They can just carry on and refer them to psychiatric practices. So now that I have covered all the all the conditions that I wish to cover today, I would like to say some general things about the screening process of here. One is it helps if you have observed the student for a long period of time, so you have a baseline and you can work on top of that. Uh, what are the signs? Like in young adults, often the signs of psychiatric illnesses are a little bit different. For a depressed person of 30s, 40s, will generally withdraw more, will generally even smile and will not like to express their sadness to strange people. But in adolescents and young adults, it often comes out as anger, shortness. They can actually become more oppositional. They will not listen to you there, or sometimes it's like talking to a wall. You keep on telling them you have not done this, you should be, or just answer me what is going on, then they are just blank face, there is nothing there. So that can be an indicator. What are some of the signs of abuse, etc.? So any sudden change in the way the student is interacting with the world. So victims of abuse will often just withdraw into themselves. They will not talk to others. They might be fearful. They might avoid certain situations. They might stick to one or two trusted people and not interact with others, and so on. Overall, general signs of mental difficulties in youth would include absenteeism. If there is a child, if there is a student who is normally very diligent or normally will come to class in time and is suddenly now dropping classes without any uh, given reason, we can feel that something might be wrong. Behavioral changes, anger, irritability, and withdrawal, like I said. So, now that we have covered what to look for, we will now go to what to do. Now that I have figured out that some kind of problem is there in this student, I have observed them, and this problem has been persisting for some time, at about 2 weeks or so, and I feel like something must be done about it. To what to do with it? So, young adults uh, would not respond very well if they're coerced. If we go directly bypass them and go to psychiatric help services or the parents and so on without talking to them first, they will not respond very well, and they might be very resistant to actually going to the psychiatrist. We find this very often when adolescents are brought to us, and sometimes against their will, sometimes by saying that we are going for something else, and they are brought here suddenly. So they will often feel very resistant towards getting any help from us. So the first step is to talk to the adolescent. We It should be done in a place which is somewhat like in a place where the other students are not there, so there is some amount of confidentiality there. See, I have seen you, I might be wrong, but I have felt some concern. I feel that some issues might be there with you. I have observed this change. We can be very truthful. This is the change, or these are the changes that I have observed, and these seem to be, I don't know if this is bad or good. I just was concerned. I wanted to just talk to you. So you can show some concern and then listen. So in psychiatry, we say that listening is the most important art. If we can just give a safe space for a person, for the student to talk at me, and not immediately give some kind of solution. So it is very important that we can start with some kind of open-ended question. So tell me more about it, and then I and reflect some of the things back, summarize key. Okay, so it seems that over the last few days you have not been feeling so well, and and someone, you can ask gently, is the problem at home or someone bothering you at school and so on, and it is safe to tell me. And then listen mainly. If you can listen properly, most of the psychiatric illnesses, even serious illnesses, can be easily diagnosed that way. But for screening, listening is absolutely necessary and most important step. Do not give Do not do problem solving immediately, and do not give false claims of confidentiality. Some things must be told to the parents. Any self harm or risk of harm to others, or some kind of thing that might be very serious, we will have to tell the parents. We must involve the parents, so we can be very truthful in the beginning, that we will try not to tell all the details about it, but if it is very concerning, we must tell. Then the parents can be told to seek help from a psychiatrist. There are many private psychiatrists. The government colleges, including the Asansol District Hospital, has a psychiatry department. Many Kolkata has 5 medical colleges. Each have their own psychiatry department. Bardhaman Medical College is nearby, which has a psychiatry department, and so on. Psychiatric services are available for people in Asansol. If, on the other hand, you feel that there is chance of abuse or neglect, that the child may not be safe in the presence of their parents or the current caregivers, there are process for that too. So some of the things that I will, some of the resources are available easily on internet, but some I will give you some numbers. One is for people less than the age of 18. There is a child helpline number 1098. For women, there is women helpline number 1091. For general psychiatry difficulties, not just for children and for adolescents or young adults, but for you also, for any one of us, is the Telemanas scheme that the central government does. The number is 14416. Outside of that, for difficult social difficulties, abuse, etc., there is the Sakhi project of India, and the Sakhi project has one-stop centers, OSCs. The nearest one to you is again in the Asansol District Hospital. It's in the 3rd floor of the ENT department. So these are some of the resources that you can use. I will conclude my statement by saying that, just like in an aircraft, they tell that before giving the oxygen mask to your child, you first please use it on yourself. You can only help if you are okay. And like Madam, Dr. Swati Madam, the principal Madam, had told in the beginning, that the act of teaching, the act of caregiving itself can be quite stressful in this day and age, and it is very important that we keep ourselves healthy. That includes, just like the physical health includes like a diet and exercise and so on, the mental health, overall well-being includes some time to leisure, some time to ourselves, some time in socialization with our loved ones. And whenever we feel as adults that our baseline is not being touched, our normalcy, there is a lot of deviation from our normalcy, we would be like prudent, and it is advisable that you seek professional help. There is no shame in taking the screening and the help of professional individuals for you, and it will be helpful for you in your real life as well as in understanding the difficulties, and be empathetic towards your students. Thank you. That was the content of my A, and I would answer some questions if they are told to me.
আমার কিছু ওইখান থেকে শুরু করো।
Thank you, Dr. Jaminda, for such an insightful and thoughtful session. We are grateful. I have posted a question in the chat box. If you please uh, discuss.
কার মোবাইলটা খোলা আছে? আমার মিউট আছে। আরে মিউট থাকলে তোমরা লগইন করে আছো? না।
Am I audible?
এইটা থেকেই তো হচ্ছে।
Okay, if there are any questions or comments, please raise your hand or feel free to ask.
তুমি অলরেডি প্রেজেন্ট করে আছো বলো।
Sorry, I lost the call for a bit. I might have missed some questions. If they can be asked again, please.
শোনা যাবে না তো। তোমরা লগইন করে আছো কেন? তোমরা তো ডাইরেক্ট দেখছো।
Sir, I have this question to ask. The mental health concerns discussed today, do they differ between girls and boys? Like, how does gender influence mental health issues among young adults?
I think there is a raised hand from Shonchita Di. We can answer that if you ask the question.
Okay, Priyodip, my first question is, sometimes when I have a ward who is a 14-year-old, and often he finds us very enjoying to, roast his friends and being roasted among his friends. But I'm concerned with the thing of bullying. So how will I make him understand that this is bullying and this is roasting, and you should not go into bullying this way? Because I feel, sometimes cannot make a difference between them and come into a performance or wars or enjoyment with roasting or bullying on a friend. So how will I make him understand that this is bullying and you should not go into this? And if it's fine in kind of roasting like thing, so how will I differentiate between these two?
It's not easy actually. What constitutes bullying is quite different. But what we can teach the children or the adolescents is that some people are different from us, and that is okay. And the point is not what I am doing. The point is how it is being received. So we can just facilitate conversation between these two people. One person who is doing it good naturedly, and the other person is receiving it in a way that they are feeling hurt. They are feeling that this other person is picking on me and is making my life difficult. So what we can do is we can have some, if they're as young as a 14-year-old, probably we can do modeling. We can pretend to be that other child and sit and do a role play session. You say that thing to me, and I will say, because a 14-year-old is also probably not good enough in their social communication to make them understand that I'm feeling hurt. They will say you are bad, or they will get angry rather than telling that I'm feeling hurt by your words or something. So that can be reflected, and this kind of social communication, first, once modeled at home, we can give some social script. See, look at these signs in the face of the other person or in the activity of the other person, and that might be because they are angry with you or they feel bad about what you have said. So once you do think that they are not feeling okay with it, can you go and just ask him that when I said this, did you feel bad? Why did you feel bad? This is what I meant to do. You also say these things about me. I don't feel bad. Do you feel bad? And then reflecting it back to them that although you may not feel bad about it, some other people might. And this kind of social nuance will come with age, hopefully, and as long as we teach them to be kind overall, generally they will sort it out amongst themselves.
Thank you. There is a question from our principal. As educators, we regularly interact with students through mentoring and mentor-mentee conversation. Are there any common patterns, warning signs, or early symptoms that we should be able to recognize? At what point should we consider referring a student to a mental health professional?
Yeah, I might have covered it, but I will go over it again. So, change from baseline is what we are looking for. For that, we must know the student, and educators who are often seeing that student over weeks will basically know what the student is like, how they speak, how they interact. Are they lonely, or like some people just are quiet, some people are very gregarious, they want to talk to everyone. Sometimes they will like even poke others during class and have fun. Other people can be more sincere and sit in the front and will be very angry if other people bother them. So that is the baseline. If there is change in baseline of high duration, either though that baseline change has happened over 2 weeks or more, there is in high intensity change, getting really angry, really sad, uh, really dysregulated, crying, etc., or there is loss of function. The person is not coming, is absent often, is not able to take care of themselves. You can see that their clothes are not properly ironed or something. They're untidy. Their hair is bad. They're not eating probably. They're not talking to anyone. Any change in the pattern of the communication with others. A child or a adolescent or young adult who used to talk very much with their friends is now not doing it at all, is completely silent. Those are warning signs. Other warning signs can be if they sometimes they will just come out and say that I don't feel like living, etc. So those were the warning signs that I mentioned during the talk also. If any of them are there, it is better to just err on the side of caution. And if we feel that psychiatric help is necessary, it does not matter if they don't have it. So the psychiatrist will do nothing. They will say you are completely healthy and come back. So there is no problem with that. But on the other hand, if we miss a psychiatric illness, that can have long-term facility complications. So if there are problems, I would suggest that the teacher first talk to the student, take them to a quiet place and listen to what is going on. And if after that they feel like something is wrong and something bad is going on, then they can first contact the parents. And if the parents can take to the psychiatric help, then good. If not, we as like educators, etc., can do it directly also.
Thank you, sir. We have another question from Tanshima.
প্রিয়দীপ, আমার প্রশ্নটা হলো অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমার মেয়ে ও 14 বছর মানে মোটামুটি অ্যাডুলেশন পিরিয়ডে ঢুকে গেছে বা ওর হরমোনাল চেঞ্জেস হচ্ছে, সবই আমি বুঝতে পারছি, কিন্তু অ্যাজ এ গুড প্যারেন্ট, মানে যেটা তুমি প্রথমে ব্যাড প্যারেন্টিং এর একটা কথা বললে, তো এই যে ফেজটা ও ঢুকলো, মানে এখন জাস্ট ঢুকেছে, সে নিজেও জানে না ডিপ্রেশন কি বা মেন্টাল প্রবলেম এই সমস্ত কিছু জানে না, কিন্তু এই ফেজে একজন মা হিসেবে, মানে একজন গুড মাদার হিসেবে আমার বিহেভিয়ার কি হবে টুয়ার্ডস মাই ডটার, কি হওয়া উচিত অ্যাজ এ গুড প্যারেন্ট?
তো আই ডোন্ট থিঙ্ক মানে কোনো স্পেসিফিক্যালি কোনো চেঞ্জেস করবার দরকার নেই। there are, and on the other hand, as a mother, the amount of things that you do or the things that you need to do are vast, they are myriad, and you are already doing them probably. The changes maybe in adolescence is giving back more autonomy to the অ্যাডোলেসেন্ট। পেরেন্টিং একটা 5 বছরের বাচ্চাকে যেরকম ভাবে পেরেন্ট করা হয় একটা 14 বছরের বা একটা 17 বছরের বাচ্চার সাথে হয়তো অন্যভাবে করতে হয়। ডিসিশন মেকিং যেগুলো ওকে ইনভলভ করছে সেগুলোতে একটা অ্যাডোলেসেন্টকে বেশি ইনভলভ করতে হয়। কি কারণে রুলস হচ্ছে, কি কারণে রিওয়ার্ড দেওয়া হচ্ছে, কি কারণে পানিশমেন্ট দেওয়া হচ্ছে, আর দে justified or not, are they according to what they are doing or not, সেইগুলোতে অনেক সময় কনভারসেশন করতে হবে to make them part of the decision making process. There will be changes in the body and mind of a 14-year-old, so good sexual education is a must. So often Indian parents and teachers will not give any sexual education. So often the children will come to us, or adolescents will come to a psychiatrist and get the sexual education for the first time, which is not okay. Then education about digital media and what is safe, what is not safe, what not to do, not sharing of details about themselves or sharing pictures etc over the internet is not okay, and why it is not okay, what happens. Again একটা 5 বছরের বাচ্চাকে রুলস দিয়ে দেওয়া যায়, তাকে অত কারণ বোঝাবার দরকার পড়ে না, কিন্তু একটা 14 বছরের বাচ্চাকে এবার একটু একটু করে কারণগুলো বোঝাতে হবে, তাকে ইনভলভ করতে হবে ডিসিশন মেকিং প্রসেসে and so on. But I don't outside of these there must be other things also that I am not recalling right now, but I would not say that the parenting will suddenly change because they're 14 years old. It will continuously change, and the relationship between a parent and a child, or a student and a teacher evolves over time, and with more autonomy and more willfulness of an individual as they grow up naturally.
ধন্যবাদ। নমস্কার স্যার, আমি ঝুমা বিশ্বাস। অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমার কোশ্চেনটা একটু অন্য রকমের, কারণ আমার ছেলের বয়স হচ্ছে 8 বছর, আমার বাড়ি কলকাতাতে, আমি মানে এখানে যাতায়াত করি। ডিউ টু দ্যাট রিজন মানে ধরুন আমি সকাল 6টায় বেরোচ্ছি এবং রাত 11টাও হয়ে যায়। এই যে একটা লং টাইম গ্যাপ আমার বাচ্চারা আমার মধ্যে হচ্ছে, এটা একটা আমার মানে মাঝে মাঝে মনে হচ্ছে ওর মুড সুইং হচ্ছে। সেটা কেমন, কখনো মনে হচ্ছে আই এম মানে বেস্ট মম, আবার কখনো বলছে যে তুমি আমাকে অনেক কিছু দিতে পারছো না বলছে। আর একটা যেটা জিনিস, মানে কিছুদিন আগে ওকে ছেড়ে আমি আমার কলেজের এখানেই আমি ছিলাম, তখন কিন্তু ওর একটা সাংঘাতিক রকমের একটা মানে কি বলবো চেঞ্জ আর কি, মেন্টাল চেঞ্জ। যেরকম আমি হয়তো এখানে থাকবার জন্য আসছি, দেন আমার বাচ্চা ধরুন রাত 1টা 2টো পর্যন্ত চুপ করে কাঁদছে, এবং কান্নাটা ঠিক এরকম, সে যে কাঁদছে আমি যখন বলছি বাবা তুমি কি কাঁদছো, তখন হট করে আমি দেখছি মুখটা ফিরিয়ে চোখের জলটা নিজেই পরিষ্কার করে নিল এবং বলছে না না আমি কাঁদছি না, তুমি যাও। এইগুলো থেকে ওর মধ্যে না একটা সাংঘাতিক রকমের ট্রমা ফেজও চলে গেছিল, এবং তারপর কিন্তু আমি বাড়িতে যাই, ইচ অ্যান্ড এভরিডে আই রিটার্ন টু মাই হোম, বাট স্টিল আমার মনে হচ্ছে যে ওর কিছু সমস্যা হচ্ছে, যেরকম মুড সুইং যেটা আমি বললাম, বা কখনো কখনো খুব ইরিটেট ফিল করা, ছোট্ট বিষয়ে খুব ইমোশনাল হয়ে যাওয়া, বা এমন কিছু ডিমান্ড করা যেটা হয়তো আমার পক্ষে সম্ভবই নয়। ও বুঝতে পারছে, বাট স্টিল হয়তো সকালবেলায় হাতটা চেপে ধরে আমাকে বললো যে মা তুমি আজকের দিনটা থেকে যাও না, ক্যান ইউ মেক এ সিল ফর টুডে ফর মি, কিন্তু আমাকে তো আসতেই হবে, হয়তো এমন কোনো ডিউটি আছে। তো আমি বলবো এই দুটোর মধ্যে আমি মানে কি করে ব্যালেন্স করব, হাউ ক্যান আই ব্যালেন্স দ্য রিলেশনশিপ অফ মাই সান অ্যান্ড মি? যদি এই বিষয়ে আপনি একটু আলোকপাত করেন আমার খুব উপকার হয়।
সো এটা একটা খুব রেলিভেন্ট এবং খুব কমন এখন সিচুয়েশন ইন ফ্যামিলিজ উইথ 2 ওয়ার্কিং অ্যাডাল্টস পেরেন্টস, এটা মাঝে মাঝে হয়। দ্যাট সেড যেটা আপনার বাচ্চার হচ্ছে সেটাতে স্ক্রিনিং করানো কিন্তু দরকার। আমি যেটুকু আপনি বললেন ওইটাতে আমি একটা ডায়াগনোসিস বানাতে পারবো না, তো আই উড সাজেস্ট দ্যাট ইউ ডু go and see a psychiatrist about what to do. তার মানে কি তাহলে বাবারা বা মারা সব কাজ ছেড়ে দিক, যদি সেরকম নয়। এই এই ধরনের ডিফিকাল্টি গুলো হয় কারণ কি বাচ্চার যে অ্যাটাচমেন্ট আছে না সেটাতে ইনজুরি হয় বা অ্যাটাচমেন্ট রিলেটেড ডিফিকাল্টি হয়। একটা 20 বছরের ছেলের বাবা মা যদি বাড়িতে না থাকে তাহলে তার মনে কোনো ভয় থাকে না যে আমাকে ভালোবাসে না বা আমাকে অত ইম্পর্টেন্স দেয় না, এন্ড সো অন, বিকজ অ্যাটাচমেন্ট রিলেটেড যে ডেভেলপমেন্ট গুলো হওয়ার থাকে সেগুলো অলরেডি হয়ে গেছে। বাট ইন ইয়াং চিলড্রেন, especially below the age of 10 years, যদি there can be feeling of fear, ভয় লাগতে পারে যে এরা আমার থেকে দূরে চলে যাচ্ছে বা এরা আমাকে অত ইম্পর্টেন্স দিচ্ছে না। তো কারণ কি ওই অ্যামাউন্ট অফ সিকিউরিটি ফিল করে না একটা বাচ্চা in the relationship with the only two people who make all the decisions for them and have all the power in the relationship, and they feel no control basically. So এটা একটা attachment related difficulty, and some work needs to be done. That does not mean that you have to leave your job or something, but attachment related work can be done even with when both parents are working and there is only limited amount of time that are available. That would be beyond the scope of something that I can tell in 15 minutes, but এটার জন্য বাচ্চার সাথেও কাজ করতে হয় আর বাবা মার সাথেও কাজ করতে হয়। বাচ্চার বেসিক্যালি বোঝাতে হয় বাচ্চাকে যে না, বাবা মা আমাকে ভালোবাসে, বাবা মা আমাকে ইম্পর্টেন্স দেয়, বাবা মা ফেরত এসে will do a lot of quality time. It can involve a lot of small video calls in between, and I know a lot of parents say this ki after coming back from a whole day of work, there can be 8 hours or 12 10 hours 12 hours of work, then I have now gone back to home, I need some time. But if your child is that young and is also crying and is also quite distressed about it, then we have to find out fun activities. It can be movie night, it can be going out, it can be something that is just মা বেটার বা মা বেটির একটা অ্যাক্টিভিটি যেটা শুধু আমরাই করি বা তিনজনের কোনো অ্যাক্টিভিটি, and so on. And I would suggest that you go and meet a psychiatrist, child psychiatrist if possible, and just to screen a mood disorder. It could be depression.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so there is another question. Since we teach in a girls' college, we would like to understand the role of gender in mental health. Do mental health concerns differ between young women and young men? Are there any gender-specific patterns, risk factors, or warning signs that educators should be aware of when supporting our girl students particularly?
Okay. They almost all mental health disorders have some kind of unique or differential presentation and management in men and women or girls and boys. A lot of them start at around 10-12 years, and a lot of them disappear by the age of 20-25. But in a girls' college, one of the things is that depression is more common in girls than in boys. Overall, just the overall presentation of depression is much more. And also, self-harm related difficulties can be more. I did not cover in my topics, but personality disorders are another type of disorders, mental health disorders that happen, which kind of crystallize or get more defined by the age of 18 and will probably act up much more in the population, in the college going population that you are teachers of. So and the personality traits of men and women are different. The way the girls will generally, girls are better at social situations and thus are better able to mask their symptoms. Uh, they will often be more uh, introspective, and they will often be able to like fool the population even if they are depressed. Often they will not show sudden drop in the way they talk or the way they perform even if they are depressed, when compared to boys of the same age who generally have stronger and more apparent depressive symptoms. So that is something that can only be seen by someone who is paying a lot of attention. Again, it comes down for teachers to see their students how much attention we are paying and to the regular and how close we are to them. Only then we will be able to understand how something is changing. Girls on average face a lot more sexual and physical abuse, and as such are more vulnerable currently, in not just in India but in even in developed countries. So again, abuse is something that we must keep an eye out for, since it is a lot more common than we think it is. Um, in general, in anxiety, in depression, in severe disorders like psychosis or BPD, etc., it will be almost the same for girls and boys. In anxiety, in depression, often girls of a younger age will be able to mask it better. That I would say is the major difference.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Jamindar, for such an insightful and thought-provoking session. We had a very engaging and interactive session with our resource person. If there are no further questions, we shall conclude the session here. আর কারো কাছে কিছু প্রশ্ন থাকলে আপনারা বলতে পারেন, or we shall end today's session here. Okay. Raise করেছে? Okay, so let us once again express our gratitude to Dr. Priyodip Jamindar for such an engaging presentation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Today's second session will start from 3 p.m. and on the same platform, Google Meet. So all are expected to rejoin with the same link at 3 p.m. Thank you.
বললেন ভালো, অনেক কিছুই আমরা জানলাম স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য। আনসার করা এবং কেউ কাউকে ওভারল্যাপ করলো না, কোথাও মানে বললাম যে প্রশ্ন করলে ওটাই উনি বললেন, আর ওই প্রশ্নটা করলাম না, উনি তো তখন ছিলেন না, উনি যেটা অনলাইনে সবাই করে পুরো সেশনটাই ওই স্ক্রিনিং এর ওই কোশ্চেনটা কি করবে না, যেটা করলে এদিকে তো পুরো সেশনটা ওই নিয়েই ছিল, পুরো সেশনটা ওই নিয়েই আছে। কি বললাম এতক্ষণ কি বললাম, ক্লাসের মধ্যে তাই শুনিনি বলছিলাম, তোমরা নিজেদের টপিক দিয়েছো স্ক্রিনিং ব্যাপারে, তারপরে আবার জিজ্ঞেস করছিলাম তোমাদেরকে বলেই দিল কি ধরনের হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, মানে টপিকটা দেখতে পারি উনি কোশ্চেন শুনিয়ে আপনার পুরো শুনলাম। ক্ষমা করার নেই, ক্ষমা এমনি চলছে জীবন, ক্ষমা 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 করতে আবার চলো ডান্স নিয়ে আমি জানি না হবে হলো কোয়েশ্চেন করতে পারবো না। সঞ্জিতা এসে কেন তো
সঞ্জিতা
সঞ্জিতা
তিনটে থেকে তোমার
ডান্স
কাছে
দিয়ে
কোয়েশ্চেন
question
করবে
করে দাও ডান্স এন্ড
হ্যাঁ বলছি শেষ হয়ে গেছে লাইটটা
তুমি
তুমি
বন্ধ
বন্ধ
দিয়ে
করো
দাও কি বাবা ডান্স এন্ড ওয়েলনেস নেক্সট সেশন ডান্স এন্ড ওয়েলনেস we have no idea dance and wellness is not about keeping your body dance and wellness হচ্ছে নাচের মাধ্যমে তুমি নিজের স্ট্রেস রিলিজ আমাদের কোশ্চেন দিয়েছে
হ্যাঁ ডান্স ওটাই বলতে চাইছি যে থ্রু ডান্স হাউ ক্যান ইউ মেইনটেইন ইউর মেন্টাল
Mental
এবার উনি এটা বলবেন এবার আমাদের তো কোনো এক্সপেরিয়েন্স নেই
না হাত পা নাড়তে পারে
এবার আমাদের তো কোনো সেই রকম
Idea
নেই আইডিয়া নেই সো ইউ আর এক্সপেক্টেড
কালকে ওই সুন্দরী ম্যাডামটা কালকে না পরশু সুন্দরী ম্যাডাম কি বলে গেল সুন্দরী ম্যাডামটা যে আপনি যদি কিছু না পারেন ঘরে অন্তত 5 মিনিট চালিয়ে ভাষার নাচ করুন
আরে ভাষার নাচ
সে
তো
তো আমরা
2
পরে
সেকেন্ডের কথা এটা আমাদের বলো এটা তো 1 ঘন্টা
এক ঘন্টা ধরে আমরা কি বলবো আমরা তো ভাবিনি যে ডান্স করবো ফর আওয়ার ওয়েলনেস কে বলবে
অনানন্দা কাছে যায়
শুধু শুধু না সেশনটা শুনে তারপর করে গেল দিচ্ছি
আরে বাবা তুমি শুনো শুনে কোশ্চেন করো ওটা বলতে চাইছো
হ্যাঁ প্রশ্ন থাকলেই তো কোনো ডান্সের
প্রশ্ন তৈরি করে দাও
প্রশ্ন তৈরি করে দাও
তৈরি করে দাও
কেউ কোনো প্রশ্ন করবে না কিছু না সব এখান থেকে চারটে থেকে
বলছি যে এই যে কথাটা বলছিল কি লাইভ
চারটে থেকে নিয়ে 5টা অবধি ওটা একটা ক্রুশিয়াল টাইম ওই টাইমে যদি আমি ঘুমিয়ে গেলাম
হয়ে গেছে।